I came out as a gay man after high school. And it was a rough period during that time. It was a time that we're talking, 60s to mid-60s. We did not use the word queer at the time, or gay. We might have used the word queer, definitely not gay. And so I was uncertain about what was going on, but I knew that I had this, number one, I had this attraction to the same sex. I was just flamboyant and precocious, and I didn't even realize it, but my classmates did. You know, I would have my sister tell my father that she wanted Barbie dolls, an easy bake oven, and all of this stuff, and she didn't care. And she would ask Daddy for these things, and when my parents were at work, those things were mine. It was a lot of hiding. I was living a double life because even though I wasn't acting on one, but I still fantasized about that life. I didn't have the real freedom until I left home. And that's when I could really see what this life was all about and how I fit in. I started going out to Fire Island by myself. And I eventually started working out there, and I started doing a little campy drag, but I always took it off before I went back in the city. Now, this one day, I couldn't get it together to get off the island. It was like I couldn't take off that dress. And I said, what is going on here? It was like Pearl had come up and took over and said, I'm not taking off this dress. So I ran over to the Ice Palace and I started to tell one of the performers there, I said, I'm going back into the city dressed like this. And I remember somebody saying, Pearl, you don't want to do that right now. Are you prepared to do that? And I said, Pearl won't let me. And eventually I got my stuff together. I went in just as I was. And I never went back to being Ken, was my male name. I never went back to being Ken again. What I did was I sent a photograph of Pearl to all my siblings and my mother. My father had passed. I said, Mother, did you receive the letter? She said, I'm not sure. I said, Mother, either you did or you didn't. I know she would have loved to have said no and hope it would just go away, but it wasn't going away. And she said, yes, I received it. She said, but don't send this, don't let your oldest brother know. I said, sorry, everybody has the picture. And I did that because I figured they would need each other's support while they go through this whole, because it's quite an emotional thing when, you know, you have a brother and all of a sudden at 50 years old, you have a transgender sister. I wanted them to be in my life. I left the door open even when they were not receptive in the beginning, because I loved my siblings and my mother. And eventually everybody met Pearl.